Greetings, people of Earth. Welcome back. My name is Jax, and today we're talking about burying our heads in the sand. So, yesterday's video was. I got opinionated. I got angry. Yesterday's video was about how I'm glad to be gay, and I'm sick and tired of people talking about how gay men wish they were straight, and I'm sick and tired of hearing gay men talking about how they wish they were straight, because it's not a choice and you have to move on. So today we're talking about burying our heads in the sand. So at what point is it appropriate just to essentially peace out and leave a conversation, leave the political sphere of influence, decide to just bug out and disappear into the woods or into the nature, or just disappear, into an escape cabin in the middle of nowhere and just live your life in peace? Because believe it or not, there are millions of people around the world who are not on social media, who are not in these big conversations about political class and climate and culture and economy. There are millions of people that don't care, that live their lives how they want to live them, and the rest of the world be damned. My brother is a little bit like this. He's not interested in political matters. He does his own thing. He lives his life happily in his own little sphere. He doesn't like destroy the planet. He travels around in his little car and he does what he's got to do. He does his job and he finds little pleasures in what he does. And I think we all do that to some degree. But at what point is it appropriate to actively decide, I don't want to do this anymore? I don't want to be a upstanding, vocal, informed member of society. At what point do you decide, I'm going to find and pursue my own happiness, and by doing that, I will make the world slightly better in its own way, contributing to positivity and the happiness of everybody by doing my own thing and not stepping on anyone else's life, by not imposing my will, by not imposing my opinion on other people. I make the world a better place by just being me and not interfering. There are two large schools of thought on this idea. One group is vocally and vehemently against it. This is the activist, whether you're right-wing or left-wing, whether you are religious or non-religious, whether you are a Keynesian or an Austrian school of economist. These people believe that you have to be vocal, you have to change the system. The system is rigged, the system is corrupt, and the only way the world gets better is if we try to make it better. And so that's one opinion, and that's all it is an opinion. Don't let anybody tell you that they're right. You can have the opinion that, you have to make the world a better place. You have to, change the world for the better, protest, upheaval, overthrow bad governments, all of that. And there's a place for that, and there's absolutely a valid opinion. But the other opinion is just as valid, that no, I'm going to live in my corner of the world. I'm going to do what I want to do, and I'm not going to interfere with other people's lives, and I'm going to live a happy and peaceful life. I have to be really honest with you guys right now. I am leaning heavily towards burying my head in the sand, and by that I mean I'm not going to disappear off of social media. But I'm thinking heavily about the idea of becoming completely uncontroversial. I will only talk about positivity and living your life without friction. Maybe make a few jokes about, being gay and gay culture and, my hobbies and interests, some archery, farming, living close to the land, self-sufficiency, doing those kinds of things, but steering completely away from any kind of political conversation, any kind of religious debate. I'm heavily considering it because I get worked up about these things. I get pretty invested in these things. I think we all do, all of the like-minded people that watch this stuff. we get pretty invested into topics and theories and concepts, and political debates are no different. You get pulled into them, and then suddenly, like, it's all we can talk about, it's all we can focus on. So I do heavily think about that, and I don't know if that's necessarily putting my head in the sand or burying my head in the sand, but it is a form of avoidance, and it is a form of trying to find my own peace regardless of what the world is doing. My grandfather used to say, the world is always going through a crazy end of times thing. You know, before World War One, it was like Napoleonic Wars and all this other stuff. Then it was World War One. Then it was the Spanish flu. Then it was the Great Depression. Then it was World War Two. Then it was communism and the Cold War. Now it's environmental destruction and basically a new Cold War. And so the world constantly goes through these things, and whether you're there to fight them or not, it's going to happen regardless. Nuclear war could get declared tomorrow, and there's nothing any of us could do about it. And so I think you have to guard your happiness and guard your peace. And I don't know. I really want to hear what you guys think about it. I'm not making any decisions at this point, but I do think I'm going to gear future videos towards just positivity, just having fun, seizing the day, exploring new and exciting hobbies and interests and opportunities. I don't want to be a political commentator. I never did. I never enjoy that kind of stuff. I make videos about things that I care about and that I'm passionate about. And the idea that these political pundits have a good life, or even these politicians have an enjoyable life, I don't agree with that. I don't think you could point to a single politician or a political person and ask them if they had a successful career. I don't think any single one of them would say, yeah, I had a really successful career. I often think about President Obama. I remember when he got elected and how absolutely amazing it was. And, this idea of like hope and progression and all this stuff was just being touted. And I think if you asked President Obama today if he's happy with his legacy and everything he did, I think he would have huge regrets and different things that he'd be like, well, I wish we did this, and I wish we'd done that, and I wish this hadn't happened, and And so even somebody who I consider, whether you are left-wing or not, or right-wing, you got to admit, like, President Obama had a very successful, like, scandal-free presidency, and, obviously there were, like, issues that happened and all of that kind of stuff. But you can't deny that he is one of the most iconic politicians on the planet. And I don't know if he would really say that he had an amazing run of it. I think he would have some regrets and obviously some things that, like, man, I wish this would happen differently. And so I don't think that politicians necessarily have very good lives, and that trickles down, Reagan, that trickles down onto the political pundits, and that also trickles down onto the politically minded citizens. I don't know, guys. I think there are people who enjoy life way more than the very, very politically active people in our culture. And when it comes down to it, I have to ask myself, like, who do I want to be? And so this concept of burying my head in the sand, I like it, but I also don't like this concept because it implies that, like, I would never do anything if a certain situation arose. Like, I would just completely cut off, which is not true. Like, if certain situations happen, like, I would absolutely, stand up and fight. But until such time, maybe the head is getting buried, maybe I'm going to guard my own peace and happiness, and I'm going to guard the peace and happiness of the people who watch my content. If you watch my stuff regularly, I feel as though I have kind of a responsibility to, I don't know, lighten up, make you guys laugh, make you guys think about things you hadn't thought about, talk about philosophy and culture and the way we live our lives. And I think about the impact that people have. I hate being referred to as like a social media influencer. But whether I like it or not, I create content that people watch and it affects people emotionally. And if I got to choose how I made people feel, I would want them to feel happy. I would want them to feel beautiful and loved and heard, because I love listening to everybody. And so at the end of the day, if my content doesn't make people feel happy and enjoy who they are and be positive about the future, what am I doing? I'm not here to scare you. I'm not here to, tell you what to do or how to do it. We're here as friends. We're here as, humans, and like I'm as oblivious as everybody else. Like I'm just this dumb kid who makes stuff on YouTube, and maybe I'm thinking about this way too hard in terms of responsibility and my impact. But it really does come down to like everything we consume on the internet makes us feel a certain way, makes us think about certain things, makes us change things about our lives and impact the world. And so I really want to either be something that makes people laugh and enjoy what they're doing, or makes them think about, philosophy and the concepts in our world. So I think that's the direction we're going to go. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this. Burying your head in the sand. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? What do you guys think about it? Yeah, it's curious. I've had people talk to me recently about like, Jax, like you now have a platform. Like it's your responsibility to talk about the issues. And it's like, okay, well, what issues? Your issues? My issues? Vladimir Putin's issues? Barack Obama's issues? No, like my responsibility is to myself, to the people I love, to the people who watch me all over the world, who, gain a little bit of positivity or just feel good about themselves, because you should feel good about yourself. And so, the idea of the issues, you need to be supporting the issues. It's like, that's always going to come with a bias. That's always going to come with a point of view and a set of basically like propaganda. So I don't know. I guess we just have to enjoy every day, live in the present, and that's it. So guys, interested to hear what you think, and as always, I will talk to you guys tomorrow.